Welcome to Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom. On this podcast, we journey through the devastating experience of the death of a child. Grief is seldom discussed openly in our culture, and the death of a child makes people feel even more uncomfortable. We approach the topic openly and honestly, speaking to people who have lost loved ones and experts who help care for them. Whether you are a parent experiencing loss or someone who wants to support another going through this tragedy, this podcast strives to offer hope and help.
Welcome to episode number 341 of Losing a Child, Always Andy's Mom. I'm Marcy Larson, Andy's mom. Today, I have the pleasure to welcome someone back again. So if you remember, we talked about this a few weeks ago, about how we were going to have some people on who had come on relatively early in their grief and just do some follow-up episodes on them. And what's really crazy is that Samantha, Raiden's mama, actually wrote to me before the person who introduced that idea to me. So it was like she was there waiting in the wings, ready for this. So it turned out to be really, really perfect. So Raiden's mama came on when she was only a few months into her grief journey. And if you want to listen to her full episode, please go now to episode number 282. So you can go to andysmom.com/282 and you can get it really easily through the website that way. Or you can, if you're in Apple Podcasts or whatever, you can page all the way down to 282. It just may take you a bit of time to get there since we're obviously now in the 340s. We also talk quite a bit about a good friend of hers who she became friends with after she was on the show and who she introduced to the podcast. So she introduced Miranda, Denver's mom, to the podcast, and Miranda came on in episode number 311. So if you want to listen to that one, again, you can go back to andysmom.com/311 and listen to that one as well. Again, if you know someone you think would be a great guest to the podcast, be like Samantha. Suggest it to them. Ask them to come on. If you were on the podcast a long time ago and you want to come back on, let me know that too. So you can email me, Marcy, M-A-R-C-Y, @andysmom.com. Or, of course, if you want to share your own story on for the first time, email me that as well. And again, I just love hearing from parents. It's my absolute 100% favorite thing about this podcast is hearing about all these amazing, wonderful children and their families. So feel free to email me. I do not have a sponsor for this week's episode, but if you would like to sponsor an episode, you can do that by going to the donate page on andysmom.com. And we sponsor an episode by donating $125. So if you would like to do that, that would be great. Also, I want to talk about the next live stream. So that is coming up now in a couple of weeks. So we are going to have that next live stream with Gwen on, I believe, Monday, April 6th at 4:30 p.m. So that's Monday, April 6th at 4:30 p.m. So I was trying to figure out kind of what should we talk about in that live stream. And what we've kind of decided on is, how Gwen has just done this whole educational series for the month of February. And it was just amazing, wasn't it? I mean, all of you that listened, it was just so valuable and so wonderful. So we thought, wouldn't it be nice to do a little follow-up on that and give people an opportunity to ask further questions? Because although it was a great series, we loved it. It was a little bit different than what Gwen normally does because normally we're pretty interactive and we can take questions right away. Well, she just did 4-hour-long episodes and there were no questions. So now we're going to give people the opportunity to ask some questions. So if you haven't had a chance to listen to all of those episodes, go back, listen to the February episodes right in order. They were so valuable to me. They made me think, gosh, I should maybe rent the video series and learn even more or talk to her even more than I already do. So I think it'll be a great topic, actually. So if you have questions, you can email those ahead of time to Marcy, M-A-R-C-Y, @andysmom.com. But of course, we would like many, many, many people to come on the live stream and offer those questions up live to us so we can have a really rich discussion. So we're doing that at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. we've tried different times. We've tried in the evening, we've tried the afternoon. So now we're kind of going in the middle. We're going real late afternoon. Might be able to catch a few more people this way. It's hard to know. That time works really well for me that week. And so we're going to give 4:30 a try. And if you have, real strong preferences on the times for these and you would like to give some input, email that too, because we are still kind of experimenting with what the best times would be for that. That's also spring break here in Western Michigan. So I don't know if that's going to have any bearing on anything, but we know that it's not spring break everywhere. So there will be plenty of people who still want to listen. Right now, though, I just want you to sit back and enjoy this update from Samantha, Raiden's mama. Welcome back, Samantha.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you back. I was saying earlier, there are certain guests that I have on that I just feel like we make a real connection and I just really click. And you are one of those. Like, I just clicked with you. And so I just think about you all the time. And you've emailed me a couple times since you were last on. We're thinking about 14 months ago you were on the show. And I just think about you periodically. And you've messaged me. And when you messaged me that you wanted to come back on, thought, yeah, I think that's right. And what's funny is I've mentioned this now because I've mentioned in some of my introductions that I had a guest write back and say, I think it would be really helpful to have some people on who shared their stories when they were early on in their grief and see how they've been doing since then. Because Hunter's mom, Luna, was on and they just felt like they just appreciated that so much. This guest or this listener said, I would like you to do that some more if you can. And what's funny is, you had emailed me maybe 2 weeks before that. So it was really, it was felt meant to be that she did that. And I had you sort of waiting in the wings. I didn't interview you right away because I talked to you about how the fact that I was sort of taking a little bit of a break. So you were one of my ones that I took a break, but I had you knowing that I was going to be able to interview you kind of as soon as I got back going again. So thanks for being patient with me and thanks for coming back.
Absolutely. I'm glad you did some self-care.
I know. I did some self-care and I think it was really really good for me. I really felt myself sort of replenishing a little bit. So I think I'm going to go about doing things just a little bit differently now because, again, I just need to do a good self-care. It's kind of a catchphrase, I know, but I think it's super important. And it's one of those things I talk about all the time. But yeah, I don't think I was following through with myself as much as I needed to,
I think it's common.
I know. I think it is common. So for those of you who don't remember Samantha, Raiden's mom, I will direct you back to episode number 282. So if you want to pause now and go back and listen to that, then you can hear all about Raiden. But I also feel like we want to give him a little time today too. So I think giving us a little short recap of Raiden and his personality and kind of what happened would be great. So if you would do that, I would love it.
Yes, I would love to. I love talking about my Raiden. So Raiden was born in 2020, my little COVID baby, diagnosed a little after a year and a half with autism. So he never really communicated, but he very much did communicate with his hands. He did his little happy flappies and stuff like that. He loved being outdoors. He was obsessed with bubbles.
Oh, I remember that. You sent me a video of bubbles. That was awesome.
Obsessed with them. Literally rain, shine, snowing. He wouldn't care. In the house, outside, in the bathtub. Anywhere, anytime is bubble time for Raiden.
Love that.
He loved his sensory swing. And I think I already said it, but he just loved being outside in the nature, just adventuring and getting dirty. Typical 3-year-old little boy, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a huge snacker, big foodie. And it was actually kind of nice because he wasn't like a really big candy kid. He was more like fruits and veggies and chicken nuggets, of course.
Yes, of course. Of course. Well, yeah. Mhm.
Yes. So he's forever 3, but he passed away just 5 days shy of his 4th birthday.
Yeah, so tragically too. Yeah. You want to go into that just a little bit?
We were on family vacation. We were camping. We had been taking him every year since he was about 1. And he unfortunately eloped out of the tent while we were all sleeping and found himself in the water. And he ended
Yeah.
up drowning.
Yeah. So sad too. I mean, I remember thinking about what just a smart little guy he was, because I reminded me of my Peter, actually, because he seemed like such a little engineer, right? Because he had stacked up like animals or pillows or some such thing to get to the very top of the tent, where, because of course you had zipped it all the way to the top so that he wouldn't be able to reach it, right? But yet smart little independent Raiden figured it out.
Yeah.
You know, he reminded me like exactly of my Peter, because my Peter was a little speech delayed and some things, but man, he could figure everything out, and he always got in trouble worse than his older brother and sister because, again, I think sometimes when you don't talk, you just figure it out on your own.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what he did, right? I mean, you did everything you possibly could have
Oh, absolutely.
to keep him in that tent, aside from sticking a padlock on it, which you would never do to lock yourself in, right?
Right.
And yet he found himself out anyway. So it's just this horrible tragedy, which was made really difficult too with, I remember you talking about media stuff being icky and just all of that, right? When you have
Yes.
a death that ends up being really public like that in the news, as I think both of ours were,
Yeah.
that you can get some pretty icky stuff too.
We were fortunate in the fact that they didn't like name us
Oh, good.
or anything like that, but like, yeah, just like the verbiage and the way that they just put the information out. It was very short, and it was very much like it made us sound like we had him out in the water without any safety protection. And that was
Yeah, right.
not the case at all.
Right.
It just shines light, and then like, you know, it's not anonymously posted, but like news pages will post it on social media, and then people will comment, and it's just like, it's disappointing and sad to see how negative people are when they don't
Yes.
know anything,
Uh-huh.
anything at all on the situation. And since my loss, I have seen there's a girl that's very popular on TikTok, and her son passed away in a drowning at a home pool. And then there's a girl that's somewhat local to me. She's a couple of towns out towards the coast, but her son ended up eloping and drowned in the river. And these people were more known, and their names got out there, and the backlash and the negativity and just the pure rudeness of everyone. I was just like,
It's so horrible.
I felt so bad for them, but at the same time, I was like, I'm so glad that we weren't a public figure like they were, because
Yeah.
I don't know how they're handling that, because I couldn't.
Right. It's just, I mean, it's so crazy how people think they can be so mean online and say such things, right? It's just, you have no accountability when it's on there like that.
And it's
like things they wouldn't tell you to your face, right?
exactly. Yeah, they wouldn't tell you to your face, and they were like, well, it would never happen to me. And it's like,
Yes.
well, you don't think it's ever going to happen to you until it happens.
I think that is part of it. And I think we talked about this before, because I think people want to come up with any possible, with a possible reason that it could not happen to them. Right. I mean, I remember with Andy, that stuff in the court with the attorney saying, well, maybe his seatbelt wasn't buckled, or maybe his head was out the window. I mean, that was just such a dumb one. I mean, like all these things that, of course, none of that was true, that you can just throw out there to make yourself believe that you are somehow immune to any of this kind of thing happening to you. Like, this happened to you, but it wouldn't happen to me because I make sure my kid is buckled in the car, or I make sure, right? All this stuff.
Yeah, I'm better, and I'll be better, and I do better.
Right. I would never make that mistake. Well, you know what? These things happen, and you didn't. Nothing you could have done really to prevent it. But even if there would have been something you could have done to prevent it, that still doesn't change it, and it still doesn't change the just meanness. But I think they just don't want to admit that this could be a possibility in their own lives.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
And Raiden was your only,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Your only child. And you were fresh. You were just months into your grief when you came on.
Yeah.
So I want you to spend some time talking about kind of what this last year plus has been like for you, because I know you wanted to come on because you feel like you've done a lot of different things and you just wanted to kind of give people an update on what's been happening in your life.
Yeah. So a little bit after our first call, I finally found a therapist. So I've been going to her for a little over a year now. She got me in. She was like, I don't want you to go a whole nother holiday, because I had gone over Thanksgiving without Raiden. That was our first real holiday. And she was like, I don't want you to do Christmas by yourself. And so I started seeing her, and I've been seeing her every week since. And I tried to look for like support groups here in the Salem, Oregon area, but there's really not. And the support group that I did find was great, but it was very much, there was no one around my age or my husband's age, and nobody had lost a child around our child's age. They were all older, and so it was really, really hard to connect. And so that was very discouraging, and it made us both like stop looking for connection a little bit for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then I slowly started sharing on TikTok, just like little things about Raiden here and there. And I slowly like got other lost moms on my For You page. I ended up finding a couple of support groups on Facebook and got added to those. And so like the first one that I got added to, or one of the first ones, maybe not the very first one, but it was specific to drowning losses.
Oh, okay.
So that was really nice, just to be able to like share in a safe space, because about drowning is not it's not safe to talk about. People judge really a lot, blame a lot. And so it was nice to have like a place to go and like be able to talk about Raiden and be able to talk about the trauma of it, and like being able to connect to other moms that have gone through a very similar loss. And then within that, I kind of created a little group myself, and we call it the Little Love Lost Mamas. And so all of our kids are like between like a year old, and I think the oldest is like 6. And it's actually really cool because I had shared about my Raiden on one of the Facebook groups, and another mom had a son named Raiden who passed away when he was 6. He was also autistic. And so we connected pretty much.
Wow.
And her and I talk here and there sometimes. We're not like super close, but I think that that's super cool, meeting another. I mean, I know it's Raiden instead of Raiden, but it's spelled exactly the same. And I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, for sure. And then you had somebody else that you sent to me, right?
Yeah.
Denver's mom, right?
Yes. Yeah, I think I met Denver's mama on TikTok, and then we found each other on Facebook, and then I added her to the Little Love Lost Mamas. And then another girl that I'm really close with, that she's eventually gonna reach out to you, I think.
Is she? Okay.
She just has some legal stuff that they're doing for theirs.
Oh yeah, that makes it messy. Yeah. To come on. Yeah.
So we don't want to mess with any of that stuff. So so we're waiting until after. But I met her as well. I feel like I also actually met Stassi on TikTok, and then we became Facebook friends. And so out of the Little Love Lost Mama group, we kind of created the three of us group.
Yeah.
And so we have Denver, Fable, and Raiden.
Uh-huh.
And all three of us feel like we get like signs from them, which is really cool. And so the three of us, we talk almost every single day. We did a memorial gathering and bubble release back in July for Raiden for his memorial.
Uh-huh.
I planned this whole get together, and Stassi actually flew in from California
Wow.
for just that weekend. She literally flew in for the weekend to come to Raiden's memorial gathering. And my cousin, who is also a lost mama, her daughter passed away when she was 13. She ended up coming all the way from Washington, which is like a 3-hour drive, to come down to Raiden's memorial too, which was cool because then Stassi and my cousin Kelsey got to meet. And now all of us are connected. And this weekend is actually my baby shower for the baby I'm pregnant with. And Stassi and Miranda are both flying in, and we're renting an Airbnb.
Miranda's flying in?
Yeah, Miranda. So Miranda and her mom are coming, and then Stassi and her aunt, who's pretty much like her.
Because she lives in Canada, Alberta maybe? Or where was it? Where in Canada? Do you remember?
Medicine Hat, I think.
Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if that's in Alberta.
Alberta, Medicine Hat. She talks about both of them.
Yeah, I think, well, Alberta's the province, so I think Medicine Hat is in Alberta, but I shouldn't quote me on that because that might be all my Canadians. If Medicine Hat is not in Alberta, I am so sorry if it is in another province. But I'm just going off of memory. I did not look this up. So, but you know what's funny is, when Miranda originally reached out, I thought you're from the same hometown. Like, I thought she was from Oregon. Yeah, because I even said something about her being on Pacific time, and she said that she was on Mountain time, I think, and like, what? And then I realized, oh, they're not even from the same country, let alone the same town. I mean,
Yeah.
it just goes to show how you can get so close with other bereaved mamas that are going through this. You can just feel like sisters, even if you haven't met in person. So is this going to be your first time meeting in person then?
Yes, I'm so excited. Yep, it's our first time meeting in person, and her first time meeting Stassi in person also. And it'll be the first time all of our moms are meeting, which are all lost grandmas. So it's kind of like a double awesome in a
for sure.
Awesome situation.
Okay, guess what? I have confirmed that in fact Medicine Hat is in Alberta, so I am good. I'm good. I did remember correctly. So, okay. But wow. So, so I love that you're talking about, kind of some of the things you've done. You want to go into that a little bit more? Or do we want to talk about this pregnancy, or what do you want to do?
There is a few more things.
Okay.
So after a little while, I also created this. Right now, it's just a Facebook group, but I want to make it something bigger. Mm-hmm. It's called the Raiden Bubble Project.
Okay.
And so right now, I get these little vials of bubbles, and I try to stick with orange because orange was his color. And I have a join us on the Raiden Bubble Project little sticker I put on it, and then I leave them at parks or in stores and like pull up boxes or like pockets of shirts and shoes. And if I see a kiddo, and this was really cool, I was at the Woodburn Outlet Mall, and there was a little girl, and she was just in her stroller, and it was like a grandma, grandpa, aunt, mom situation. And the little girl was just being adorable and kind of a little bit of a turkey. And so I approached, and I was like, would you mind if I gave her bubbles? I do it in honor of my son who passed away just this last summer. And the grandma stopped right there, and she goes, will you tell me about your son? And I cried, stumbled a lot.
You did, because you don't get asked that question very much, do you?
Not super often. I don't get to talk. Yeah.
No, I feel like you almost hate to bring it up because it's like, I'm just going to ruin your day right now, but I'm going to tell you, I have a dead son.
Yeah.
But to have that kind of response back, what a gift.
Oh, it was. And I just remember like just feeling a little lighter. And I remember just calling my friend afterwards and being like, guess what just happened?
Right. Because people don't do that. Usually it feels so taboo, and like they would graciously accept the bubbles, but not want to go into it with you,
Yeah.
But she was willing to just step in the space. Let's just step in the space and see. Oh, if everyone did that, wouldn't this world be just a better place?
Yes. Yes. I wish more people would. I've handed out a few, but I think she's been one of the only people that have genuinely like stopped in their tracks and like asked me to talk about my son, which was really nice. But the bubbles end up leading them to the Facebook group. And on the Facebook group, I talk about autism awareness, supporting parents that have kids with autism. I talk about autism and water safety and just water safety in general. The last year, I've really been trying to like advocate for just safety around water and knowledge of how like unsafe water wings really are and how like you should use a life jacket, but really you should teach your kids how to swim without any support, because genuinely that's going to be the only way that your kid is going to be able to save themselves if they were to be in that situation. Because for a while, we were using the water wings until Raiden was about 2. And that's when I was learning how they actually teach them to sit in the drowning position.
Yeah.
And when I learned that, I was like, oh. And so we switched to the life jacket. And that the summer that he passed away was the summer I was teaching him how to swim on his own.
Yeah. Right.
And if I would have just known that knowledge a little sooner, I feel like potentially he could have saved himself, or at least kept himself above water long enough for someone to find him.
Right. Yeah, it's so hard to know, isn't it?
So I share a lot about that. And I've actually had my therapist actually follows me.
You got to let us all follow you. So how do we follow you?
It's on Facebook. It's called the Raiden Bubble Project.
Raiden Bubble Project. Okay, everybody.
Yeah. And so she not only works with me, but she pretty much specializes with people on the autism spectrum and with disabilities and stuff. And so she follows me, and she has said that I've taught her stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah.
And I've had random moms reach out and be like, thank you so much for sharing this information. I would have never known. And I've had lost moms find me through the Raiden Bubble Project as a lost mom, which was really cool. Yeah. And I had one that had just gone through her loss, very tragic loss. I won't comment on any of it, but it's legal and very, 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 very hard. And she's not reached out to anybody because of it, but she felt comfortable enough to reach out to me. And I've been in contact with her.
Oh.
I think it saves lives. I think connecting moms with other moms is saving each other.
I mean, you're really going into a sacred space.
Yeah.
And I love that people feel like they can invite you into their sacred space.
I'm about to have my little baby, but when I do want to, and I've been playing with the idea of it, and I just have to wait until I'm ready to step into it. But I would love to be like a lost parent social worker, maybe. Like,
yeah.
Because like when we lost Raiden, we got the chaplain, and he was amazing. But that wasn't a lot of support.
Yeah.
And I think if Oregon were to have some kind of program to have where like you lose a child in that situation, I think the only true beneficial way to get support is to find another lost parent. Like it's hard to connect with somebody that hasn't gone through it. So if you can connect with somebody that has, I just feel like it's tremendous in the healing process and in the processing process.
I 100% agree. I mean, there are definitely people who have not lost children who are great at helping. There are. But I do feel like you get a certain, like when you've lost a child, you sort of feel like nobody can understand you except somebody else who's absolutely been there, right? Yes. And you just, when somebody has been there, then you're like, okay, yeah, I can listen to, you know? And if a non-lost parent tells you something and a lost parent tells you the exact same thing, you may be just ticked at the non-lost person, what they say. And then the lost person says it and you're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense to me. You know, it's just, you believe them when they say it. It's similar to things I can say to myself that other people can't say to me, right?
Yeah.
If other people say to me, Andy's in a better place, I'm mad. I'm like ticked off.
Yeah. No, we don't like that.
But yet but if I say to myself, Andy's in heaven, it really is a better place for him, I can take that because I said it to me, right? But if a lost parent says something similar like that to me, I will take that okay. But when you haven't experienced it, it's a little hard. So I think that's why social workers and therapists who have gone through the loss themselves, you can just, I don't know, they just seem more relatable and believable and, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And also just like having like your people, it's nice because not only are they sharing their loss and their grief, but they're understanding your loss and your grief. And it's just really awesome that they're willing to open that space for you and hold that space for you and hold your grief too.
Yeah. Like I said, it's sacred.
Yes.
Right? This
and
is
it's
a sacred space.
Because even though I never met Denver or Fable, I feel like I have. Like I feel connected to with everything that they've shared and the pictures and everything. I feel like I met them and they were my nephews. And I love them so much. And it's crazy that you can like, and like even with Stassi and Miranda, before I met Stassi and even not meeting Miranda in person, like I love them. They're like my family now.
Yeah.
And I literally I don't think I would be where I am without them. I really don't think I would be where I am without them.
It's so funny because I can relate to so many people. When I met them in person the first time, I just, I feel like I'm just hugging you because I've already loved you. Like you're already like a sister. You know what I mean? And if I ever am taking a trip out your Oregon way, am I going to look you up? 100% I am. Right? 100%.
Yeah. My husband's great aunt was talking about going out to Michigan to a graduation. It didn't end up happening because she had some health issues. But I was like, if we go to Michigan, I might see Marcy.
I know.
I might get to see her if we.
And I've done that. Like I've done that a couple times. People have come to Michigan like, okay, we're meeting up. Where do I have to go? Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, and I also have like another idea in the works. I actually, my little town has changed their policies and stuff and well, it's not changed it. They created a new policy because I had reached out. I had seen in another state, another lost mom had created this. I don't really know how to explain it other than to explain it, but it's just like this metal arch in a park. And there's like bars that connect both sides of the arches. And you can take padlocks and you can get padlocks special made with pictures and like writing and stuff, and you can take those padlocks to the arch and padlock your person to it, and then you can go there and you can visit, and then everyone like in the community can go there and visit. And so like everyone that I know in town, or even the ones that I don't know, they can potentially put their loss on the arch, and then if they're visiting one day and I'm visiting one day, we can talk about our losses. Or if they're just walking by and they're like, oh, what is this? And someone's there, they can be like, this is my son, or this is my daughter. And like, I feel like that gives the community an opportunity also to open up to talking about loss and talking about their loss.
And not making it taboo.
Yes. Which I feel like anytime you bring up loss, you always get the, oh, I'm so sorry. And then they like shut it down and they change conversation, and you're like, no, I brought it up because I want to talk about it.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing the last year or so.
You've been doing a lot, honey. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It is kind of crazy.
Well, like we talked about, Raiden was our only child, and with him being on the autism spectrum, I was a very, very, very busy person, just with appointments and staying on top of him and stuff. And so like going from being an autism mama to being a lost mom, I had so much free time and so much downtime and so much time that my brain just would go. And I'm like, I need something to focus.
Yeah.
And that's where the Raiden Bubble Project started, was I just needed something to focus on.
Yeah. Well, and it's just beautiful. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's funny because they would talk. Started talking about how having people on again. So the last one I had on again was Stephanie, and I had Stephanie on because she was my very first interview of my very first lost mom, and we talked a lot about purpose and about finding your purpose. And when you're finding your purpose again after loss, how you kind of need your child all wrapped up in it, right? And that's what makes you know that, like, okay, this is my purpose. Like for me, Andy, my purpose becomes the podcast, and Andy is all wrapped up in it, right? For Stephanie, she became director at Starlight, and Kian was all wrapped up in it. And it doesn't mean that that's what goes on forever, and things certainly may change over time. But it's beautiful when your child can be all wrapped up in your purpose. And that's what you did. This is exactly what you're describing. You're describing trying to, going from this mom of a child with autism that needed so much care and extra appointments and extra therapies and this, that, and the other thing. And to now, like, what is my purpose now? What is my purpose?
Yeah. And
you really found purpose in helping other lost moms, other moms of autistic kids, other,
yeah,
that became the purpose, and Raiden was all wrapped up in it. It's just amazing.
I can't remember what episode it was, and I want to say you were interviewing a lost dad.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember, I don't remember if it was you saying it or if they said it, but I just remember somebody saying, I still wanted to figure out how to parent them.
Yes.
And that gets stuck in my brain. And I think that's part of why I also started the Raiden Bubble Project too, was it was my way of still being an autism parent without being an autism parent.
Right. 100%. So I do want you to talk about this pregnancy, because that certainly is difficult too, right?
Yes.
And I don't feel like people totally understand that. I think the general public, and I don't know if your friends and family ended up being like this, but I can imagine, and I know a lot of people have had this, that they're like, oh, thank goodness she's pregnant again. Like, it's almost like, they don't say that it's like a replacement, but it's kind of what some people are sort of thinking a little bit, right?
Yeah. And I definitely, like, I nipped that in the butt really quick. I'm like, this baby is not any way, shape, or form a replacement of Raiden.
Yeah.
This baby is somebody that I get to share Raiden with.
Right. Yeah. It just doesn't. It's not like, people go out and get a new puppy or whatever. It's not. It's just not at all the same. Like, your heart is now, like, the part of it that was loving Raiden is still 100% there. Just like when you have another kid, like thinking of me, I had 100% of love for my firstborn. Then I have my secondborn. It didn't divide in half. I didn't now take half of the love that I had for my daughter and switch it to my son. And then when I had Peter, it is all now a third. No, it's 100%, 100%, 100%. So when you had Raiden and lost Raiden, you still have 100% of the love for him. And now none of that love is now going into the next one. You just have another 100%.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So I feel like people need to think that a little bit more about how it would be if Raiden was alive. If Raiden was alive, you would never be feeling like it would be some of that love for Raiden is now going into this new child. No, you would never think that.
You would never tell the mom, like, oh, you're going to love this one more or less now that you have another one.
Yeah, no, you would never. But but you've probably heard it, or you wouldn't have said it. Yeah. So talk about that. Talk about the difficulties that has been and how it is.
Getting pregnant in general was hard. We struggled getting pregnant with Raiden. And then after Raiden, we had the 2 miscarriages.
When Raiden was still alive, I think, right? You had the miscarriages, yeah.
Yeah. One happened the December before he passed away. And then the other one happened just that June before he passed away.
Yeah. because he died July 15th. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was literally like loss. It was absolutely insanity. I didn't even have my bearings back from the first miscarriage when I had the second one, and I was not even a human when we lost Raiden. And then I was like, okay, what?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
But we always talked about, my husband and I, wanting a really big family. And I knew off the bat that we were going to try pretty quickly after we lost Raiden, because we were already trying.
Yeah, of course you were. Yeah.
Prior to losing him. And I mean, I'm in my 30s. My husband's almost in his 40s. We're not young, but we're not old. And
yeah, right.
We were like, well, we don't want to wait too long. And I ended up going to a fertility specialist and whatnot. And it actually took a little bit longer. It took a couple of cycles. I actually woke up the day of Raiden's birthday, which was July 20th. And something in my brain said, today's the day to test. It wasn't even time for my period or anything. It was just something in my gut said, go take a test. And I went and I took it. And I literally sat down, walked away. I was like, it's going to be nothing. And then I went back within the time frame and I was like, oh, this is positive. And I took another one and that was positive. I took another one and that was positive. And I was like, okay, this is happening.
Right. And you're talking to Raiden. All right, buddy, thank you for telling me to take a test today. Yeah.
The crazy part about it is the night prior, I was talking to Raiden. I was like, I love you, buddy. I miss you so much. Tomorrow's a big day. Can you please sing?
Because it would have been his 6th birthday, right?
Yeah, it would have been his
5th birthday.
5th birthday. Yeah.
As soon as I said that, I was like, no, because he died days before he was 4, not days before he was 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I would really love it if you sent mommy a sign. And then literally woke up that morning and tested positive for pregnancy. And I was like, what?
Okay.
And so I literally I go to the park and I set up his memorial gathering and like in the back of my mind, I know that that's there. And I'm just like, I wanted to shout it to everybody, but at the same time, I wanted nobody to know because that was Raiden's day.
Right.
And that day, honestly, it went really good. We got together. He was a potato. He loved French fries and potatoes and stuff like that. So we did baked potatoes, which was really good. And then we did cookies and cupcakes. And we just kind of got together. We blew bubbles, we painted rocks, just kind of hung out together and talked about them.
Yeah.
And that was really nice. And then I got to the next day, I went out with Stassi to have brunch before she got back on her flight. And so I got to tell her and her aunt that I was expecting Raiden's sibling.
Yeah.
The day after finding out, which was really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it was just, and then we waited a little bit to tell everybody. Not too long. I didn't wait until 12 weeks. I told people pretty early on because I had gone through my first miscarriage very quietly.
Yes.
And then my second one, I shared a little bit more because I had actually announced that we were expecting. And then a couple weeks later, found out that the baby had stopped growing. And I was like, well, that stunk. And so I was nervous to share about this one, especially after losing Raiden. I was like, what if this ends up in another loss?
Right.
That was my biggest fear. And I was very, disassociated from the pregnancy, I think, for a long, I wanted it, don't get me wrong. But I was I was disassociated, I think, for a long time. And,
because you're just so afraid.
Yeah.
Right.
Like every twin.
I've talked to people who've had kids after and they have this fear, I don't want to get too close because it just hurts so bad. So I think it's a natural thing that when you've gone through such pain, you just don't want to have that much pain again. And you think, well, maybe if I just don't love him quite as much or you've already lost 2 pregnancies.
Yeah.
And then you lost Raiden as an almost 4-year-old. So a little bit of your head thinks, well, if I don't get as attached, maybe it won't hurt as bad. But of course it's not true.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I know the one we had a miscarriage at 13 weeks and I had just told people after 12, right? I hit the 12 and I'm like, okay, now I can tell people. And I did, and we lost the baby within a week. But in some ways, I feel like I kind of felt like had people known more, because not everybody even knew, then my sorrow and sadness would have been more understood.
Yeah.
Right? So I know when I got pregnant with Peter, I took a pregnancy test when we were out with my family in Las Vegas, and I told everyone like the day after my pregnancy test. So I'm like barely pregnant, right? I missed my period like by like a day, and so I took the pregnancy test, and I just told people because I thought if I lose this pregnancy, I will want people to understand why I'm so sad.
Yeah.
And if you don't tell people, and now all of a sudden you lost it and you're sad, then you don't have that sense of understanding. So in some ways, I just feel like, just tell people, right?
Yeah, and also if you don't share it and then you miscarry, it's like, is it weird to even share it?
Yeah, right. Then maybe do you not even share it at all? I don't know.
And then you think about, well, how come this wasn't so known back in the day? And it's like, it really actually was known. We just didn't talk about it as much as we do now.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. So anyway, the pregnancy certainly was rough, I'm sure, at the beginning, especially when you're kind of going through those early stages. And
yeah, every doctor's appointment, I kind of like mentally prepared myself for bad news.
Yeah.
But I would always get good news. I also ended up changing my OBGYN from the OBGYN I had with Raiden to a different one. And I think that helped ease a little bit of the anxiety of going to doctor's appointments and stuff like that. Then we decided to do the blood test to find out the gender instead of waiting for the ultrasound. We found out it was a little boy, which was, I mean, I was happy about it, but at the same time, I was nervous.
Yeah.
Then when we had I actually have it right here. We had his first little ultrasound, and this ultrasound looks exactly like Raiden's ultrasound. And so Chris and I, my husband, we were in the room and we were like, oh, he looks like Raiden's profile. And so we've just been like playing back and forth on like how much he's going to look like Raiden versus like me or Chris or my, like, because Raiden I felt looked a lot like my dad. Yeah, he had a lot of my features, but I also feel like I looked a lot like my dad.
Yeah. And he looked like my dad. Mm-hmm.
And I just think like, I don't know, like looking at his little nose and his chin, I just think that they're going to have, I mean, obviously they're brothers, so they're going to look alike, but I think they're going to look a lot alike, which is like a little nerve-wracking, but I'm also excited. I'm excited to see.
It's hard, but it's kind of good. I mean, having boys that looked very much alike, I can tell you, like I remember my friend Michelle, this gets me choked up. I remember my friend Michelle saying, well, you're always going to know what Andy would have looked like had he grown up because he looked so much like Peter, I mean, when we, I shared the story in the podcast before that when we had the 9-month pictures taken of Peter, we went to my in-laws and I pulled out the 9-month pictures we had taken of Andy and I handed them to them like they were Peter and they all thought it was Peter. And then we said, actually, that's Andy. It's not Peter. And they're like, no, it's not. That's definitely Peter. Nope, it's not. It's Andy. And then after Andy died, they did, the Grand Rapids Choir Men and Boys did a CD in honor of Andy. And on the cover, we took pictures of Peter in the choir robe, just from the back, though, not from the front. And it just 100% looks like it was Andy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because it was done about a year after. So Peter would have been 13 and Andy was 14 when he died. But like, I look at that. It in no part of me do I think that's Peter. That looks like Andy from the back. And so it's just kind of a cool thing. So I sort of hope a little bit for you that they do look alike because it can be, I mean, it's painful. Like I said, it gets me teared up sometimes thinking about it, but yet it's kind of a cool thing too, right? Yeah.
No, I agree because I think I shared in my first interview that I have a cousin who had a daughter who passed from cancer. She's gone on to have, at the time she had just had her second boy, but since then she's actually had another. She just had her fourth kiddo, and this one is a little girl. Just like they have,
Yeah.
Olivia was the daughter that passed away. Olivia and this new one, her name is Hadley. Olivia and Hadley have different dads, but they look alike, and it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to see, like, even though like they have different dads, like obviously Mama's genes were strong.
Yeah.
It's just really cool because even like her two boys, like especially when they were infants, like you look at their infant pictures and you're like, is that Olivia? Is that Sebastian? Who is that?
Yeah. Oh, so cool.
The only way we know is when my cousin tells us who it is because, well, they were her kids.
Yeah, right.
He knows.
Oh, so cool. So cool.
But I do think, because Raiden was pretty much bald when he was born, but in the ultrasound of this one, which we're naming him Riot, which is
Okay.
Wyatt, but with an R, because we're for our boys, we're sticking with our names.
Uh-huh.
And so when they were doing his ultrasound, you can see little hairs sticking up in the back of his neck. And so I think he's going to have some hair when he's born. So he'll be a little bit different in that aspect. I'm just so excited to see. I'm excited to meet him.
Because he's due in about a month, right?
March
Or so?
31st is my due date. But
Yeah.
everything in my brain is saying he's coming early. Because I got gestational diabetes this time around.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
On my last ultrasound, they said he was already almost 5.5 pounds. And so they suspect him to be 8 to 8.5 pounds when he's born. And I'm just like, I'm tiny. Can we, how about we do it earlier? Can we make him come earlier?
I begged that with Peter because Andy was 9 pounds and he almost did not come out. So my first one was 6. My second one was 9. All the OB nurses teased me that my third one was going to be 12. So
my goodness.
When I like all the way through the pregnancy, like I think maybe a week early. I think maybe inducing me a week early would be a good idea. You remember the second one almost did not come out, right?
How big was Peter?
He was 8.5. So he would have, had he gone to the due date, he would have also probably been 9.
9, almost 10 pounds.
Yeah, it would have
It's
been
crazy.
a good 9-pounder. So and like I said, we were. They said, okay, we're gonna give you another half an hour and check you again. And if not, we got to go to C-section. And then Andy decided to finally be cooperative and come out. But
good. My coworker, she ended up going 2 weeks over.
Yeah.
42 weeks, and her baby was almost 10 pounds, and she had to have an emergency C-section.
I'm sure she did. They just get so big sometimes.
I was just like,
oh, okay. All right, we're gonna hope for a little bit. Week early. Week early sounds good. Yes.
As long as he's between 36 and 39 weeks, I'm happy in there.
Yes, that's.
Then he'll only, because Raiden was 7 pounds 5 ounces and 19.5 inches long when he was born. So I'm like, we can do that because that felt safe.
That feels good. Oh, so any other parting words that you have to say to the listeners before we let you go?
I would just say, if you're a lost mama and you stumble across a lost mama, don't feel weird about reaching out.
Yeah.
And if you're new to this, there's so many moms out there that are willing to connect and accept your grief and talk to you about your grief.
Yes. And I have to say, Samantha, you and I are 2 of them, right? So if people want to find you, they can find you pretty easily on Facebook, right?
Yep. Facebook, TikTok, Samantha McGee, or Raiden's mama, and you'll find me.
Yep, Raiden's mama. And obviously, I'm Andy's mom, and you can find me pretty easily. And all of you that are listening have found me already. So, email me, get in touch with Samantha. Email me and I'll forward stuff to Samantha if you need to. So just know that you are loved and supported. And I just do think creating community helps us all do better. So thank you so much for sharing these past 14 months with us. I do really appreciate hearing all that you've done. And none of it has surprised me, though, sweetie. None of it has. You had the light from the very beginning, the very first time, even though you were so fresh. So love to you, honey.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you a lot and your podcast a lot. And I will continue to share it with lost moms and unlost moms and not lost families too, because I feel like even if you haven't gone through the loss, a lot of your episodes, especially your episodes with Gwen, I feel like they help teach people how to be good humans to lost parents too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. If you found this helpful and would like to support the podcast, please leave a 5-star rating and comment. To help financially, you can type Andy's Mom, one word, to the number 53555. This provides a link to GiveButter, which allows donations through PayPal, Venmo, Apple Pay, or credit cards. GiveButter will provide a receipt of your tax-deductible donation. Or you can visit the donation page at andysmom.com/donate. Always Andy's Mom is a registered 501c3 and can receive donations through Thrivent Financial and Benevity. Marcy loves hearing from listeners. Please feel free to reach out to her via email at marcy@andysmom.com or on the Instagram or Facebook Always Andy's Mom accounts. Sign up for the email list to get weekly episode links as well as pictures of Marcy's guests and their children. Together, let's work to inspire hope, one day at a time.